Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we continue our series making a case for each Primarch being the greatest, with the Horizon Lorgar, Primarch of the Wordbearers. A general spoiler warning to begin here, as today we will be referencing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe. So you have been warned, and with that said, let's waste no time and just jump straight in. Lorgar. I'm not sure there's any other Primarch who was so completely opposed either side of his turn. The fanaticism of his belief making him beyond committed to his cause. A figurehead of righteousness for the Emperor and for Chaos. And so maybe you could use that as two reasons why Lorgar is the greatest Primarch. Two opposing sides to his story, but in truth it's the same core tenet, the same reasoning within each. Raised upon the world of Cultists, we saw within Lorgar's Primarch series novel how he was immediately thrust into the world of worshipping the ruinous powers, the old gods as they knew them. How his mentor and adoptive father Corferon was ingrained in this life, a disciple, and how he would always secretly be undermining his son, yearning for the day he could pull him back to them. Yet regardless, with the Emperor's arrival, Lorgar became a paragon of loyalty to the Emperor. At the head of his legion, he and he alone of all the Primarchs would truly embark on a crusade of unification, bearing the word of the Emperor, his glory, and yes, his divinity. They would convert every world and system they conquered into a paradise, universal havens of commitment to the Imperium. You can say what you will about how much extra time it may have taken the Legion, how slowed their progress was, or how they eradicated those who resisted, but it's a fact. Not even the worlds of Ultramar could match the Wordbearers' worlds for loyalty, for happiness, and in a true crusade to unite mankind. Wasn't that the goal? Shouldn't we sit here and say all the other Primarchs failed compared to Lorgar? Wasn't it really the Wordbearers who brought real peace to the galaxy? They didn't just conquer worlds, they didn't just forge an empire, they united the people beneath the banner of the Emperor. Honestly, there would have been no chance of a heresy had all mankind been converted by the Wordbearers. Lorgar and his legion were the ecclesiarchy before the ecclesiarchy. The institution that's undoubtedly held the Imperium together for the past 10,000 years. The best defense against chaos. How ironic the Primarch raised on a world loyal to the Pantheon actually gave the Emperor the best defense against them he would ever have. Faith in him. And trust the Emperor to make his biggest mistake of all, in throwing it all away. Look, we all know I'm an Emperor fanboy. I love the Master of Mankind. But there is no doubt whatsoever, his handling of Lorgar, and especially Monarchia, was the biggest mistake he ever made. Yes, in being so far elevated and removed from humanity, the Emperor struggled to be in the moment, to just be human, to not think in just the practical, cold factual terms, But there's no excuse for the raising of Monarchia. Having Guilliman and his legion not only destroy an entire perfectly loyal city, but to then stand before it as an example to you, forcing you and your sons to kneel while Guilliman and the Ultramarines didn't. I just can't describe what a catalogue of blunder and errors that was. Completely devoid of emotional understanding of how devastating that would be to Lorgar. And while the Emperor should have known better, Malcador had no excuse. But in his defense, I'd assume he'd have advised the Emperor against it. However, at the end of the day, that's the fact. The Emperor had the greatest anti-chaos tool, a recipe to win the war within his Imperium already, and he single-handedly ruined it. He virtually gave it to the cause of the enemy himself. And you want a testament of Lorgar's greatness? What did he do then? Aside from unleash his own true potential as a psyker, he instigated the heresy itself, corrupted the wounded Warmaster, exposing the chinks of doubt and resentment, handed the Pantheon a galaxy turned to war, a war that came the closest ever to victory, saw them rampaging over and through the walls of the Imperial Palace itself, saw the Emperor himself entombed upon the throne, and Lorgar was arguably not just one of the players in that great game, but the player, responsible for ascending his brother into the arms of Khorne and unleashing the Ruin Storm across the galaxy, the most important thing in the heresy that prevented all the loyal Primarchs reaching the throne world. Honestly, Horus wouldn't have had a hope without Lorgar, especially after the Primarchs he did have by his side started ascending to demonhood. So we have a Lorgar who not only was giving the Emperor the most loyal worlds within the burgeoning Imperium, but also a Lorgar who was absolutely the star player for the traitor side within the heresy, far more than Horus Lupercal himself, who spent most of it in communion with chaos. And oh yeah, how about we talk about the Ecclesiarchy now, the Imperial Creed, entirely founded on the Book of Lorgar, his worship and faith in the Emperor as a god. As I said earlier, it is fundamentally responsible for the Imperium's continued survival. It is, bar none, the Imperium's greatest defense against the enemy, more than any number of Militarum or Astartes will ever be. It is the words of Lorgar and the worship that it created that unifies every single person within the galaxy. Even those not religious within the Imperium still pray to the Emperor in their darkest moments. And it is this shared common belief that holds the species together. And in this darkened age, it is this faith that has allowed the Emperor to act across the galaxy, to aid his son Guilliman in his war against the ruinous powers, to fight back and take the battle itself to the very doorstep of Nurgle. And it is this faith that, in all truth, is the only hope the Imperium will ever have of victory. And all of it is entirely thanks to the Arisen Lorgar. How on earth we haven't had this guy return in the lore yet, I will never know. Because the scene we get of him speaking with the Emperor is going to be unbelievable. Because he is absolutely the most instrumental Primarch in the galaxy. And when you take just a moment to sit and think about everything he achieved, well then he is undoubtedly the greatest Primarch of all. But as always everyone, what do you think? Was Lorgar giving the Emperor the most loyal worlds of all during the Great Crusade? Was he in actual fact the best anti-chaos tool the Emperor had? Was spurning Lorgar the Emperor's greatest mistake? Did he prove his worth within the heresy, showing how powerful and important he could be? And is the Imperial Creed evidence of the greatness of the word of Lorgar? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.